Hi everyone, this is Anson from Tahuza.co. I know I haven't uploaded any videos lately, probably a few months already. I've been busy, updating the website and put up some lens review and tips for different users. And also I'm actually collecting some answers about the struggles and frustrations that everyone actually faces when they start photography, or during learning photography, or doing street photography. So feel free to fill out the form below. I'm collecting some feedbacks and also selecting a number of winners and give away some films. So make sure you check out the link below and learn more about the information. And the reason I want to do this video is that recently I sold my Summilux 51.2, which is a reissued version, and then I trade in for this 75 1.4 Summilux lens. And this is one of the legendary lens that Dr. Mendler that loves using this lens. And also the reason why I changed the lens is that I want to explore something new, and I want to make this video to actually show everyone that trying something new as a breakthrough can help with your photography. And this video is not about the gears that I'm gonna use. It's more focusing on the focal length that you can try. I know that some of you might be wonder, or if you are new to photography, if you don't know what is focal length, you can check out on my website. I think there will be some useful information that you can get. And also, if you think that there are some information that would like to know more about, especially you are a new or intermediate user, feel free to comment below in the section so that I can maybe include this information in my website or in an upcoming video. So I've been sticking to the same focal length for many years, the 35mm or 50mm that I normally use. But recently I got this 75mm, so I actually quite shocked by how this focal length actually work, and the struggle that I'm having, or the breakthrough that I'm actually achieving. So focal length is, the longer the focal length, the narrower the angle of field that you get, and also the higher magnifications that it can be. And compression and perspective, these two things are often related in this focal length. When you shoot with a 28mm, you get more perspective, but then you get less compression because of the focal length. And for a telephotographic lens like 75 or 105, you get more compression, and the perspective is narrower because of the magnifications that you get. So these lenses have their own trade-off. But what I want to try to explain or share is that you should try different focal length, because I've always been 35mm or 50mm lens users, and I think previously I tried the Nikon 105mm. It totally blows my mind. I love using that lens, especially shooting architectures in Hong Kong and the textures and some portraits. So I often pay attention to human and non-human elements in my photos, and 75mm helps me with that, because I can take really awesome portraits at the same time walking in Hong Kong. Searching for different non-human elements is really fun, and I'm getting used to that perspective. and using that frame line to actually frame 75mm is not easy. And I hope in the maybe next video and some photos that I got back from the lab can share with you later on in the Instagram. Using perspective and compression, these two elements in these lenses are really helpful to shape your photographs, whereas you can take a really nice 28mm documentary shots with different elements at the back, blended in with human elements. But if you are using 75mm, you need to pay more attention to maybe geometry and also the compression that it gives you. So it's kind of different. 15mm, you need to get closer. So Robert Capa said, if your photo aren't good enough, you are not close enough. So 15mm, you really have to get close to your subject if you want to take street photography shots. And often you have to get a general understanding of what is around you more than 21 or 35mm, because the angle of view is so wide that everything is included in your shots, and you often have to pay attention to the straight lines and the structure of the scene that you're actually entering into, and to avoid things that get into your shots, that is something that you don't want to. And also using a wider angle 15mm, you thought you can get real close to the subject, but actually the photo turns out maybe the distancing is still quite wide. The 21mm is something between 28 and 15. It gives me a general understanding of what is around me. I find it easier to use than 15 because you get really nice structure that is not distorted, and you can include many environmental elements in your shots. But moving on is the 28mm. So this focal length I know many people are using out there for street photography, and I use the Ricoh GR, which equips the 28mm, and I find it really useful when I am traveling and want to do more documentary shots. The depth of field of a 28mm lens is not as narrow as a 50mm, and if you use a 28mm at f5.6 or f8, you pretty much get everything sharp already. So this is something that is good about 28mm. It's not super wide, but at the same time you can include everything, layering perfectly inside the framing. I advise everyone to try this focal length 28mm. This is nice for snapshots, all kinds of family shots, and when my friends ask me about which kind of cameras that they should try it or begin with, I think 28mm is something that is comfortable for everyone to try. 35mm, I can talk this focal length for all day long, but it is a focal length that I really like and enjoy. It is decent. This is not too wide, but at the same time it gives me things that are not too compact, so I can put everything in really good order. And recent experience is that I shot with a 50mm for maybe 2 or 3 months continuously, and then suddenly I changed back to a 35mm, and I found that quite strange. I used to shoot this focal length for quite some time, but now I get a new perspective to look at things again. 50mm is my favorite, especially shooting in Hong Kong or Japan, because things are going around everywhere. People just crossing, and I want to catch the moment. Or you would say 50mm, it up close to certain framing that you can isolate everything else. Not too tight like 75mm, but 50mm just right to get nice depth of field, and you can zoom in with a bit of the environment elements at the back. If you don't like it, you can shoot it wide open and blurred out all the unnecessary items at the back. So 75 mm or 105 mm, these lenses are extremely tight. 75 mm I would say is a good balance to do portrait shots, the half body portraits, or even up close to focus on someone's facial expression. So it is about, you know, focusing something particularly for an expression. But using 75 mm out there on the streets is interesting because you get to focus on the textures. Another experience with a telefocus lens will be the 105 mm from Nikon. This is the famous lens that Steve McCurry used to shoot Afghan Girl, and also that's the reason why I got it before. I sold it already, but I still miss this lens quite a lot of time. And this lens is really good for me to shoot interesting geometry. If you look at these photos, you'll understand that you can nicely put elements into different areas in your shots. So my takeaway or the tip for everyone out there will be, you can try to stick with one focal length first. Let's say you are a street person, you like to shoot with 35 mm. You keep shooting 35 mm for maybe at least 2 or 3 months. Then you change to 50 mm or even a tele lenses. Then stick with that for maybe 2 or 3 months. Then you'll have some interesting chemistry, because at first you might be, you know, kind of struggle to find the balance between what you usually look at and what something new is now on your camera, and you need to, you know, cope with. And but once you get out of this comfort zone, I would say you will find something, you know, completely different. You might not like it. I wouldn't say everyone like trying, you know, wide lenses or tele lenses, but at least you try something out of your comfort zone, and then apply to, you know, 35 mm. Then what you see and your vision and your perspective change drastically and helps with my photos. So that's why I want to share this with everyone of you out there, because I find it really useful to try different focal length. I think another point is, during a creative process, you got to try every different thing. And I'm trying something else lately, and this creative process will keeps your excitement to keep up with this hobby, and also keep up with your passion about photography. So if you are looking for information about photography, especially film photography, I'm actually offering a free basic film photography course online, so you can check out the link below. If you like this video, consider subscribing and give me a like if you really enjoyed this video, or even comment below so that I can get some feedbacks on what other topics that I can work on. You may subscribe both my YouTube channel and also my website so that you don't miss any of these contents. So comment below if you have any topics you would like me to cover, or if you have any questions, feel free to email me or shoot me a DM on Instagram. I would love to help everyone out there. So see you in the next video.